Hello there, wonderful yogis. It's lovely to have you here. It's a beautiful May day um, here in Malvern in the UK. And I am absolutely delighted that you are joining me for Blackbird program. It really is an incredible thing for me that you're still coming well over a year later from from when the first all the change began. So I hope you're enjoying life and its new openings and the beauty of this year already here in Malvern is quite incredible. So I hope wherever you are, the same openings and beauty is with you. So blackbird, as I left my house this morning, there were two blackbirds on my fence just looking at me. And when I was deciding what name to use, I had a couple in mind, and I went to see my friend, and I was in her garden, and a blackbird just started to build a nest behind me when I was sitting in her garden. So that's how Blackbird was born, and also because I had this dream, and I was in a room and I could hear the most beautiful blackbird song. And it was one of those dreams. It was kind of, I don't know, one of those really poignant dreams that really touched me. And I couldn't see it, but I could hear it. And then my friend has said, "Look, it's over there," and it just materialized in my dream, and there it was. So that's another reason why this program is called Blackbird, because something was calling me, and that leads into some of the themes of Blackbird. Calling us to our intuition, calling us to the knowledge, the knowing that we can provide ourselves, and continuing to develop grounding, but developing, listening deep to your personal call. So I'm going to be looking, and that's created through mindfulness. Um, so that's another of the themes, and developing some new ideas, some new work, some new movements that may be beneficial. And of course, the breath is going to be interweaved within the class each week, as well as usually one in the little videos, as well as the visual journeys and nidras and relaxations. So there's a bit about Blackbird, but I would also love you to send me a message. I would really love you to, if you could take time. I've left some spaces in the planning so that you could send me some thoughts of what you'd really like to work on, if there's anything that comes to mind. You may be happy as it is and you just want to do what I'm sharing, but if there's something that you're longing to do, longing to practice, then please send it in early, and then I can weave it in later on in the course to bring a more personal approach to your practice. And hopefully that will, that will benefit you. So today you're going to need the bolster props again. So lots and lots of stuff that we can put underneath the pelvis, so we can make the pelvis really high in the air, so that we can. I'm still very keen to work on letting go because of what's just gone on, what's still going on in some aspects. Just so that we can start to dissolve some of the feelings that may have arisen over the last 14, 15 months. So that we can free up, and lighten and let go of any load, any heavy load. So there's a little about the themes. When you're ready, make sure you have your water nearby, as the breath really uses up the water, of course. And as soon as you feel ready to do so, I'd like you to prepare your props and make them very high underneath the pelvis. Um, you may need a very thin blanket underneath the head. You may not. So follow your nose. You can start by, using your sort of practical senses to see what you need as you lie. And so I shall turn the computer now to Elizabeth, and I will lead you through today's journey. Bear with me as I just prepare. There we go. Preparing, lying, allowing the arms to outstretch to the side, feeling your feet on the floor, fairly close to the bolster. But how does it feel? Do you need more height, or do you feel perfect? Does it feel just right? Know that you can make changes. And as you come to your natural breathing and focusing on releasing to the earth in the way that you're so familiar with now, find your roots, find your breath, and rest. And just listen to the body filling up with the breath. Feel it, intuit, listen to that air as it flows inside. Where it touches behind the front wall of the body. How it touches in front of the ribs, front of the sternum, collarbone, diaphragm, belly, pelvis. And can you feel the legs, the breath, moving in maybe through the feet and arriving into the legs so they can become like a channel, to receive the air and a channel to feel the air that then connects with the pelvis. That connects with the torso and with the back. The back of the shoulders touched again. And into the back of the skull. And just taking your time to notice where the breath needs to move to. Where does it need to live now? Where can you send it? Or is something just naturally happening? Finding space, giving yourself time to really, really feel the air as it moves its magic dance within. And just notice the spine now. Just notice the long length of your spine. And also the top of the head, the whole of the head, and the center of the top of the head. Just bring your attention here and just move your attention down through the center of the top of the head until your awareness lands at the very top of the first vertebra, underneath the back of the skull or inside the back of the skull, the center of the skull. And I'd just like you to bring in an inhalation and exhale, as if you're clearing space on top of the vertebra. And then just move a little bit further down and just bring in the breath and then exhale as if the breath is moving out from the center in all directions and just clearing between the vertebrae. And again, inhale and exhale from the center of the vertebra, as if the air is moving inside the cushions that support the vertebra as they sit one on top of the other. And just sort of mindfully moving down the spine, base of the neck, and then breathing in and spreading that breath out and just clearing a new pathway through your spine. And keep going and just relax your feet to the earth. Let the feet really relax. And, wherever you are with your attention, around the neck or into the thoracic vertebra, cervical vertebra, around the throat and below, in between the shoulders. Just observing the body around that height and letting that drop when you can, if you can. And then take the attention further down the spine, bit by bit by bit. Till your attention has moved to the mid-body, maybe at this point, and that expanding breath that just beautifully clears out stuck tensions, as if it's kind of breaking down old barriers. And instead, something new comes in its space that brings this most wondrous ease into your spine, into your incredible spine. And you might get down to the waistline. Knowing when you get to the sacrum and below the waistline, that big heart, almost heart-shaped bone with the holes in it, then you can just really give a good exhalation to the space above the sacrum when you get there. So I'll just go quiet for a little while as you just take your time to get to that space. And when you have, you can send a breath down the sacrum and the tailbone. And when that has taken place, you could just come up onto the toes of your feet and bring your toes further back. Walk them more towards the pelvis and see if you can bring the possibility of bringing your knees up over your belly. So you kind of float the knees over the belly. And you can choose whether it helps to hold the knees or not. And is there any letting go you can do within the thighs, within the groins, within the backs of the thighs, within the thighs, the side of the thighs, and the back of the pelvis. Just letting the back of the pelvis just sink onto the cushion. And just letting the air come in through the end of the tailbone, up through the spine to wherever the breath arrives to. And then breathing out down through the spine. So it has a clearer pathway after that sort of investigation, that playing with the breath between the vertebrae that you've just practiced. And so a really lovely, well, hopefully you find it pleasant. And if it is difficult, then know that you can take the raise away and just have the feet on the floor instead. And if there's any sense of building tension, just let the feet go again to the floor. But if it feels fine, then you can just have one more breath up through the spine, towards the top of the head, and then back down. And the feet can then return to the floor, and you can shift the bolster away. You can kind of gently move off the bolster. So it's very good for the heart space, the heart, the physical heart, to do that practice. It takes the pressure, makes that circulation can change, and the emphasis of the blood flowing towards the head can also stimulate the brain, and so it's a useful practice. And just take your knees very wide, and just to bring the openness into the body before we do other movements, we'll just get the flow going from the feet up into the spine by allowing the one knee to flow towards the opposite toe. So you are lengthening that thigh bone and opening up through the side body as this takes place. And use the foot to bring the leg back. And then the same leg, the knee is going to just slowly travel out to the left. Not too far. Just see how it feels to just open through that inside of the thigh, the groin space. And then float the foot back to the floor. And then the other side, it comes in first towards the toe on the floor, the left toe. Lengthen, 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 as if a streaming opens through. Gentle flowing breath. And then guide the knee back to the center and just gently open it out just a little. You can always walk the foot back in if it feels too wide. Just opening up through the groin space. As you breathe, as you soften. And the very center of the chest at the back sinks to the earth, and as if roots are traveling into the ground. Green, fresh, deciduous, beautiful roots that lick and peel around the earth, around rocks and boulders, through the waters, deep into the center of the earth, behind the heart space. And then roll that leg back in. Walk the feet towards each other and lightly pick up the knees and thread the hands in between the thighs to hold on to the back of the calves or the front of the ankles or the back of the heels. As you begin a smile underneath the chin and spreading to the ears, and then rocking in happy baby pose. Just letting that rocking flow. Not too extensive, but just a really lovely, lovely soft rocking. And drawing back to the center, let your feet go to the ground. And just draw a few circles with the back of the pelvis, just to keep the pelvis flowing. Very much in our society, the pelvis, can get blocked, and the belly dancing and the squatting in different cultures. That really helps to keep your creativity, your inner fire flowing. With that fluid breath and a few circles in the opposite direction. And just becoming still for a moment or two, and then turning onto your side. And you can have something under your head if you wish. Do you want me to throw you a cushion, or are you okay? Or are you happy as you are? And just bringing the knees up so that that lovely L shape with the legs, and then placing your top hand onto your forehead. So the elbow is in the sky, and then a sense of rolling the elbow behind until you feel that kind of invisible barrier that might just prevent you going any further. And feel inside the chest a sense of the air really expanding and softening inside the chest. And then the elbow lifts up to the sky and lands towards the elbow on the floor. You may not reach that far, or it might be very easy, and that's it. And turning the body, using the body to turn, to roll with it, as we do with the lying spiral usually. And lift on an out breath. Imagine the sun is in your chest and it's expanding its rays out in all directions, sending that heart warmth outwards and allowing your heart space to be infiltrated with light and space. The knees very relaxed on top of each other, and the feet stable, and then drawing the elbow back on an exhalation to the elbow on the floor. And then keep rolling with this movement, observing your spine as you do so. What areas of the spine feel like they're being influenced by doing this? Can you relax your ribs, your intercostal muscles in between your ribs? And when the elbow is resting behind, as it is now, can you feel the air underneath the collarbones, spreading, spreading, spreading down the arms? Lifting back, rolling with it, bowing to the earth. And opening again. Yeah, and just really sensing, are the props helping or hindering? Sometimes we can put really big props underneath the head, and then that really doesn't help. And drawing, reaching back. And then bring the arms out in front of each other. Let the top knee and the top arm lift as you open halfway. And feel the spine right in the center of your being as you practice this 5 times. Just rolling with it, feeling the connection of the feet, feeling the empty thighs releasing what they hold, letting the tongue relax inside your mouth. Floating into this openness. Rolling back to connect through the hands. Reaching up. Feet making that contact to bring a stability. Maybe just one last time, opening and feeling how the shoulder blades might be separating. Or what do you feel? Is there more of a freedom in the arm? And rest. And then the elbow bends, opens into the sky, rolls behind, just a little bend in the elbow, as if you're holding a great big ball. And the roundness of the ball makes sure that the elbows stay soft. And then you let it go, and it just floats away. And then you gather it, you gather the ball back again. As you lift that back arm, the elbow reaches around, and then it goes, just dissolves. And again, reaching up, soft elbow, opening, back of the heart space is descending. And the throat space, very, very soft. Can you soften the muscles either side of the ears? Can you let the back of the skull be rested? And draw the arm back. And you can just roll onto your other side, Elizabeth. And we can have the different view from here. As you just roll over, knees up. Now taking your one hand onto your forehead, breathing in, and exhale the elbow behind the shoulder, rolls, and revealing that sun. Revealing and you feel the spread of the ribs, the spread of the intercostal muscles. Drawing back on an exhalation as well. Lifting back, sinking forward, rolling with it. The face turns down towards the earth. And lift again. Rolling, rolling, opening. The legs are very stable. The feet heavy to the earth. The legs, the pelvis. Find that invisible barrier. And just stay there for a few moments as you rest with that. And then drawing back. Moving on an exhalation can be really helpful. And open. Holding the forehead and relax deep inside the armpit space. Let the chest become emptier. Let the chest just release those old sediments that have been existing, that just need to move out with your out breath, just with ease. Simple exhalations. Just remove and then bring the elbow back to the one on the floor, where the arms then open out. The top arm lifts and the top knee lifts. The feet make that connection. And just floating the fingers towards the sky. The shoulder blades separating. And drawing back to the hand on the floor. Rolling on the side body. And again. floating, finding that fluid movement, the release still within the center of the skull and out all the way to the ears, to the forehead, to the crown, to the throat space, reaching back. And that natural sinking, when the arm comes up again on the knee with the next exhalation, the natural sinking of the arm in the air just sort of sinks towards the shoulder. And then drawing, lightly reaching back. Bend the elbow, reaching out behind as we keep our attention on shoulder release. The knees sink towards the earth, and the natural barrier is just test that natural barrier, or just see whether the earth is the barrier, and then you can completely drop into that. And if the arms are wide open on the ground, they may be in the air, they may be way off the ground, then just come back and keep flowing and just stay with the arm in the air just for a few seconds. But if the arm reaches the ground, then continue to sink the back of the heart space into the earth. Let it really draw down into the earth. Floating collarbones. Is that your experience? Or do they feel pinned or tightly adhered to the top of the ribs? If that's the case, if they feel like not free, then just take a few moments more to breathe underneath them and spread the air, spread that kind of love through the chest from your center outwards. And bring the arms back together and just have a few moments to rest, to absorb, to allow the adjustments to take place inside. Absorbing time, absorbing the space that you've just created. And then we think about awakening from this very restful space, so that now your energy has released, hopefully, and that calming, relaxing place in which we can begin to move can begin. So when you feel ready, we want to take off socks and come to a standing position. And it might feel a bit of a shock after that deep release that was going on there. I could witness that with you then, Elizabeth. The yawns were really coming. So again, I know I've said it a lot with the last program, but her vagus nerve is definitely releasing. You've switched from that, fight or flight to definitely release and relaxation instead. And yeah, it just feels like you're topping up your adrenals. Our adrenals can become exhausted and a little empty. Our energy can become empty. And it's, so it's a bit like refueling. So refueling with breath, with energy. So now we can come to rise. Just to feel your mountain pose. Just to feel the standing in the mountain. And just to take some time to lift one heel off the floor and to roll the toes along the ground, to incite the toes to lengthen and move out, to incite then the other foot to lift, to roll onto the ball of the foot and to get the toes going. Rolling and then lengthening. And then you can change to the other foot again, and this time you're going to focus on the ball of the foot still rolling and the toes lengthening, but just being aware of the ankle and the connection up to the knee and the connection to the hip. Such a simple thing, but yet there's a lot going on when we look mindfully at the response. And then from the hip across into the spine, into the pelvis, into the spine. We're grounding here. And then from the spine, messages roll up to the spine, to the top of the skull, and to the brain, to the mind, to the brain. And then change to the other foot.
I've never felt that before. It's like talking to.
Brilliant. Yeah, this my daughter fainted getting out of the bath the other day, and she's got really, really, really long legs, and she's incredibly tall, and it was obviously too hot for her, and I just thought it was really interesting, because I thought the message from the ground isn't getting to her brain quick enough, and that's why she went, and this very simple movement, tuning into the bones of the feet, the ankle, up to the knee, up to the hip, across into the spine, all the way to the top of the head. And then you might even need to kind of move your arms and just bend the elbows and then reach the fingers out and just feel the connections through to the endings of your body, you know, really tuning in to the fingers, to the toes, to the crown of the head. And then release the feet, release the arms. And bring the arms out in front of you as if you're holding on to a tree trunk. And let the elbows bend and then hold the arms an inch higher. And it might feel strong around the shoulder mantle. And just start to notice if you feel anything between your hands as you take your hands off the bark of your tree and open wider. And heels dropping down as you do this. And then the hands come close again. And if you're sinking the arms down, just bring them up a little higher. And you might feel energy underneath the little fingers going down into the wrist. You might feel energy in the palms of the hands. And relaxing inside the arms as you open out. As you grow and open. And you can open wider and wider if that feels good. So you might sense the shoulder blades drawing towards each other. And then the arms kind of coming forward and out a little bit further. But as soon as it gets too strong, just take the arms down. Feel from the feet through the legs into the spine. And breathe that light air inside. Allow the toes to spread and your knees to soften. Eyes open, just taking in all that you can see. Soft awareness with the eyes. Crown of the head lifting up. Shoulders widening, the base of the shoulder blades widening away from each other. Lovely, lovely. I can see a difference in your breathing as you do that. Like under the collarbones, we're becoming more awake. So sensing through the center of the body and through the base of the shoulder blades as they widen and sink the weight of the arms and the softness to the knees. And just turning to your bench. You can turn wherever you can turn at home. Just walk to somewhere in the room where you've got something you can lean to. And I think going halfway to the forward bend is so useful before going straight down. And to keep the knees soft, to allow the arches of the feet to lift. So a bit more weight goes onto the outer part of the feet. And just dropping the heels again and again and again. And with the soft knees, the pelvis going back to the wall behind you as we create more and more space through the vertebra, through the spine, and then just turning the neck, the head slowly. And can you now, when you've had a few moments to release the neck and the head, can you now tune into the front of the body, all the way down to the front of the torso, so that this area is lengthening, growing, growing. Ah, lovely. As well as the back body, we grow through the front body. And then we also grow through the center of the body. Growing through the center. Breath. And then gather the belly, rising through, sinking heels, sinking tail, rolling back into that beautiful mountain where your feet are in the earth. Your head in the clouds, taking that wide vista. Your tailbone drawing down. Lift through the waistline. Slight soften to the knees again. And then turning to face this direction. And inhale the arms to the height of the shoulders. Exhale the arms down. Inhale to the height of the shoulders. Exhaling down. Keep going with this flow. And if a wider step is needed, then that's fine. If the knees would like to soften, that's fine. And just focusing on this beautiful lift. Where your ever widening feet are making that deep connection with the earth. And that floating sensation of the arms with soft hands. As if a breeze is taking underneath your arms. Two more times. And resting the weight of the arms. Just allowing one heel to lift and then the other. And then maybe the one foot might want to lift off the ground. Might just want to shake out a little. Yeah, rolling of the ankles is perfect. Just to keep that fluid connection. And then the other side. And the arms, this time, as you breathe in, the arms reach up to the sky. Palms opposite each other. And the eyes just look forward to the horizon and exhale the arms down. And inhale the arms up. Feel the spine. Feel that connection within. And exhale down. And again. And exhaling down. And just let the breath lead you. Let the rhythm of your breathing take the movement. You might find that your breath slows down as time goes on. That's absolutely fine. Lifting through, and your feet so beautifully present on the ground. The arches of your feet lifting, the top of your feet relaxing, the ankles free and light. Really letting go as the arms come down. One last time. Lifting, reaching. And as you come down, just letting anything, any free movement take place to really undo and allow that freedom. And bring the hands onto the collarbones. Inhale as you open. Exhale as you travel back. Inhale as you open. Exhale as you travel back. And feel the shoulder blades, the change that's happening with the shoulder blades as the arms open, as they take that place. And the heart space lifts. Four corners of the feet balanced and settled. It's working. Two more. Just opening. Empty chest. The weight of the legs sinking into the earth. Releasing the hands down. Moving and shaking if that's what you need to do. Now peel the feet off the floor. Let the walk a few steps even. Whatever it is you need to do to let that go. It's a strong focus, like those movements. And release. And then turning back towards your bench or your sofa or your chair and just taking the forward bend with this sort of mindful awareness of taking it forward, soften the knees, heels down, lengthen through the front body, lengthen through the back body. Imagine someone's pulling a magnet from the crown of your head to the wall ahead of you, and from the end of your tailbone, you're being drawn back with these soft knees, and the knees can bend more and more and more and more. As long as it doesn't hurt your knees. And plant the four corners of the feet on the earth again and again. Really allowing that openness. And whenever you wish to, you can rise up to standing. Gather the belly, heels down, spine rolls up through the waistline, through the crown of the head. And moving down to the floor into the child position. The knees wide, the toes touching, making that connection. Breathing in through the end of the tailbone, up through the spine, and down through the spine. Again, rising up through the spine and down through the spine. Flowing breath. Then rising at the end of the next exhalation, that moves down the spine. Then you can rise up. And we'll go to all fours now. And tucking the toes under, we're just going to practice the cat pose. The cat-cow, just inhale as the head comes up. And the sacrum is lifting. Exhale. And now I'd like you to focus, as you continue this movement, I'd like you to sort of hone your craft in a way with the cat pose. If you bring the movement from the feet up through the legs to the end of the tailbone, and the tailbone is fixed, of course, but then there's the sacrum, and the sacrum moves. I want you to see which parts of the spine you can feel move, or if any other parts of the spine feel fixed. and don't really want to move. Now I love the image of, like, the stag's antlers coming forward to greet your elongated tail. And then the stag's antlers as you lift, coming back. If those images help. And just seeing what you can feel move, and what feels. Is there any areas of stiffness? How does the cat feel to you? Does it feel really difficult because it feels too strong in the arms and the knees? If that's the case, see if you can descend the weight of the arms through the wrists, through the hands into the earth. And soften the elbows very slightly to see if that makes anything better. You could make a roll of the yoga mat underneath the palms of the hands, if that's better, if the wrists feel too put upon. And rolling, lifting. A magnet is drawing the head and the tail down. Then a magnet reverses and draws the sacrum and the crown up to the sky. And just one last one. And then sinking the pelvis back to the heels. And taking a rest. Returning back to all fours as we have I chuckle because I thought, oh, we'll have a look at the pigeon. And then a pigeon just flew down in front of the window. I love the synchronicity sometimes of nature's touch. So, you just need loads of room with pigeon. You often need your hands to come forward onto the carpet in front of the mat. And here, or you could just go diagonally. And with the pigeon, there's two ways. Well, there's many variations, in fact, but two ways of getting in. So you can either step forward with the front foot or step forward with the front knee. So if you were to step forward with the front knee, you then just lift the back knee over the front foot and tuck it in to the side of the foot. And that's it. And then you slide the back leg behind you and lengthen, 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 and sink the elbows to the floor. Now the front knee, if that crosses the midline, it's not very healthy for sacrum. So so that left knee is in a fine position here, and that's absolutely great. But you can bring that knee out to the side more. So as a thought, you could stop this video in a minute, and you could just do a whole practice on 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 the pigeon, sort of moving in different ways. I'm going to get Elizabeth. Do you mind coming up for me, and coming out of it and stepping forward with that front knee instead? I kind of feel like you need it. I feel like, is something happening with the knee?
No, the skin was feeling a bit
Oh, the skin
funny.
was funny.
There
Okay,
wasn't enough
space.
skin on my leg. Tight skin.
Well, no, it's absolutely right, because it, like, I could sense there was something that wasn't comfortable.
Yes.
And I think you might need to go in a different way. So we can go in a different way by sending the knee underneath, the foot underneath and around. That's better, isn't it? So Elizabeth's just opened up in a different way, by going in this way. Now the back toes can tuck under and the knee can spring up off the ground and the heel can extend away. The heel can really extend away. And then dropping the knee back to the floor. And then coming up onto the hands so that you rise up. Rising, rising, rising. Think of a pigeon with the chest all puffed out and the crown of the head drawing to the sky. And what I was going to say about stopping the video was, you can always move the knee like an inch out, an inch further, not now, but an inch further out to the left and then another inch further out. And then this helps you to look at different aspects of the muscles of the pelvis, the piriformis, and the and the buttocks. Lots of different things will happen. So you could do that one day if you wanted another practice from this video. And breathe. And now you could come down a little bit. The back toes could come under. You could pick the back knee up off the floor and slide the front leg underneath the back leg. And then you can go into the dog pose from there. So the toes tuck under and then the pelvis rises. And then you can just rise into the dog, sliding the weight of the arms down into the ground. And it's up to you how long you stay. Now, there's another way of getting into the pigeon, and that's from the dog. So you could, we're going to do the other leg now. So the right knee is going to bend and come forward and lift forward and then turn out to the left. And then the back knee sinks down, the back leg sinks down, and your foot is nestling on the front of the thigh and the top of the thigh, which is great. So that's just another way of getting in. Just as a thought, you don't have to. And now resting and breathing. We're looking for that pelvis to be straight at the back of the pelvis, which it does. It looks straight. And lovely air flowing inside. And as soon as you want to, you could rise up onto the hands, onto lifting up. And just sinking through the pelvis and seeing if you can lift through the waistline. And the breath is expanding into the chest. And just checking it out if it feels okay. If it's not, you can come out. Yeah, turn the head, free up the neck and shoulders. Lift through the crown. And then coming down a little, the elbows soften, tuck the toes, the back toes under, spring the knee off the ground and take the front leg around. And then bend both of the knees and rolling into the dog. And rising into the dog, and just have a little play of what feels right for you. If the dog feels right for you at this time. And of course, with the pigeon, you have to be so mindful of the knees. Just seeing how it feels in your knees and not pushing anything. And coming down from the dog pose, and we'll move from the dog pose into a sitting position of your choice. And as you come to settle, you can close your eyes and ground through the pelvis. And coming back to the rhythm of your breathing. And when I think of blackbird, I think of the beautiful song that the blackbirds make, and it made me bring in some chanting into this when I was writing this. So I thought we could chant the Mani Padme Hum. If you prefer to say Pemi Hum, that's fine. So I'll just begin and then you can join in with me. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Om Mani Padme Hum.
Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. So now the time is to assimilate your practice and rest, however you wish to rest. So whether it's lying or continuing to sit in this way, the choice is yours. And just as you rest, return to the feeling of roots, however you are. And just feel the sensation of air moving and filling inside your body. And the sensation of the exhalation as it moves out. Just watching, allowing. And just scanning just to notice how you feel. Just get a sort of sense of how you feel right now. And if you do want to journal the feelings of how you feel after a class, before and after, maybe you could have a journal with you, and you could, before you click on, go, so to speak, you could write down how you feel, and at the end, and just see what comes up. It's quite interesting. I've been playing with it lately. So I thank you very, very much for joining me, and I send you all lots of love and gratitude, of course. And I look forward to seeing you next time for Blackbird program. Bye-bye.